You're tuned in to the ADHD to Life podcast, hosted by Malachi. Tune in every week for a new episode. Oh yeah, mic check. I hope you guys can hear me a lot better this week. I have to get a cloud lifter for my Shure MV7 microphone. I mean, I think last week's podcast went pretty well. That's Lion saying hello. Either that or he wants out of the room. I'm not sure which one he wants, but you can't always have it your way, boss. Daddy still loves you. He's just looking at me like, really, nigga? Really? Whoops. And we're back. I had to pause that for a second and tend to my puppy because he needed his lovings. This is a total sidebar, but I just don't understand how we have the technology to build weapons of mass destruction. And we keep building like fast food joints and creating things that won't help us come together as one. Like we have so many clothing stores, like unnecessary stuff. Like they give us the option to do either fast food or you can go to the grocery store, right? Pick out your food that they created in a factory and you can make your food. And you feel slightly better because you didn't go out and get fast food. I'm not sure what point I'm trying to get at. I think what I'm trying to get at is like, if we're going to build something. Oh, okay, I get it now. If we're going to build something, let's create like an energy source that could potentially last for centuries. Let's find different fuels or fossil fuels that we could use. Let's create an alternative to the gas, because obviously we gotta get that taken care of. I'll touch on that a little bit later, but I know this is awkward. Oh my gosh, because I keep doing the noise and throwing in all these sidebars, but I don't know if you know this, but the United States isn't so united, and we are no longer a superpower anymore. Other countries don't fear us, not that they should fear us. I mean, I believe you can't rule with fear. Wait, I believe you can rule with fear, but you probably don't want that. I believe you can't rule with it because that kind of power always corrupts. In other words, it's not sustainable. Almost 2 years ago, China or wherever in Asia released a virus that wiped out at least a quarter of Earth's population. If they can do that, and we can create nuclear warheads, we can definitely come together and build a unified planet. Advancement of the human race, if that's what you want to call it. I feel like that's part of last week's. I think that's part of last week's session. Oh my gosh, I do apologize, people. That is not what I was going for. First 3 minutes, scratch. I wanted to touch on the Alec Baldwin. Hold on. Alec Baldwin shot and killed Helena Hutchins. I hope I didn't say that wrong. This happened. When did this happen? It happened last month. And the fact that there's still an ongoing investigation says a lot. If this were some rookie director or actor made less than $50,000 a year, his head would be bent over a toilet bowl, receiving a good old-fashioned ground and pound for involuntary manslaughter. Oh yeah. Unintentional shootings are considered legal in most states and usually result in criminal charges that range from criminal negligence to manslaughter. Accidental shootings are more common than most people think, averaging 2,000 or more each year in the United States. Whether the injury occurs from a practical prank, cleaning a firearm, dropping a firearm, or a firearm malfunction, criminal charges are likely to follow if someone gets hit with a bullet. If the injured person dies, more serious charges of manslaughter, a felony offense, are likely to be brought against the shooter. I'm citing my sources from Keller Law Office's criminal defense attorneys. It also depends on where you're living at, because that's how our founding fathers set it up. If you live over there in this quadrant and you're rich, you can definitely beat this thing. But if you live over there and you're poor, well, are you going to eat your cornbread? Now, this going to go down the easy way or the hard way. Now, I like you, and I think you'll do well up under me now. And just need you to hold this pocket if you want that protection. Those are things people say in jail. That's what happens to the poor people. Us poor people, because I fall under that category. I don't make but so much dinero, and I'm okay with that. As long as I'm happy, I'm cool. But back to the point. I mean, even OJ. I mean, even OJ. Even OJ Simpson got his just desserts. He was rich and a celebrity, and every dog has their day. And no one can escape justice or the wrath of the Lord. Like O.J. Simpson, right? He was beating that thing. He's beating it. And then he thought he won, right? And they got him in civil. I think that's correct. But yeah, they got him in civil court. So like you can run but so far, man. Eventually karma catches up to you. I'm sure Mr. Alec Baldwin didn't mean to kill Helena Hutchins, but he'll have to answer for this at some point in his life. So right now, all we can do is pray for the family that lost a loved one and see what happens. I was originally going to come here and rant and rave about how we come together and as a group and march peacefully because this is unfair. Why is it always the rich versus the poor? Blah, 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 blah. Stuff that doesn't really matter. That's a good song. Erica, no. That's not Erica Badu. That's Heal. No, Lauren Scott. You gotta check that song out. I think it's Nothing Really Matters by Lauren Scott. Or is it Lauren Hill? Anyway, just look for the brown logo with the picture of a lady. Nothing Really Matters. It's a beautiful song. That was a definite sidebar. These gas prices are getting way too high. Like, I paid $41.08 for a full tank, and I probably shouldn't complain about that, but I'm one of the many people that have to commute to work every day. Commute to the old 9 to 5. I want to know why the prices of gas have continued to increase, and this is what I found on New York Times. The supply availability of oil has a huge impact. Indeed, energy experts said the recent jump in oil prices had more to do with global economic and geopolitical forces than with domestic policies. That doesn't sound right. Global energy demand slumped when the pandemic hit last year, eventually leading the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries and its allies to cut production to prevent a collapse in prices. Demand has begun to rebound as economic activity resumes, but production has not kept pace. OPEC, that Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC for short, plus the Alliance of Oil Producers on Monday called off a teleconference to discuss increasing output. In addition, the surge in domestic oil production in recent years means that rising oil prices are no longer an unambiguous negative for the United States economy. Of course it's not. Higher prices are bad news for drivers and consumers, but good news for oil companies and their workers. Hooray! We have jobs! And the vast network of equipment manufacturers and service providers that supply them. Please don't shoot me if I say your name wrong, Mr. Joey Brusalas Sueles, chief economist at the accounting firm RSM, said oil prices of $80 or more, even $100 a barrel, didn't concern him. Not until prices top 120 a barrel he would start to worry seriously about the economy. He said, "The world has changed," Mr. Brusalas said. The risks aren't what they once were. Still, the cost of higher prices will not be felt equally. Poor and working class Americans drive older, less efficient cars and trucks and spend more of their incomes on fuel. Sources cited from New York Times. And that goes back to the fuel source earlier that I was talking about, how we need to build. Yeah, we got to create an alternative fuel source because this is getting out of hand. Why is it that whenever we get a new president in, the freaking oil prices and all that good stuff, like everything skyrocket, it starts going up. Everything just goes up for no reason. Literally no reason. Why does it matter why does it matter who's in charge? Like, as long as the people can afford the gas so they can get to work to pay the bills that they can't really afford, but they feel like if they continue to work, they'll eventually pay it off. But then in reality, they're just going to buy more stuff, and then they're going to get themselves further in debt because they feel like they need this, and they really don't need that. And that was a rant. I do apologize. That's just part of the rat race that I'm starting to realize. Like, the more I make, the more the government takes, right? But that also means the more I make, the more that I think I can afford because of what they're paying me, right? And I'm like, dude, I can afford this, I can afford that, I can do that, I can do that. And I'm like, whoa, pause. Wait, before you get yourself into a crap ton of debt, you should have just went off to college if you wanted all that debt, boy. What's wrong with you? I'm Gucci, I'm good. I've already got a plan in place for my stuff, but we need to figure out the rent situation because rent is way too high for what we're getting. We're getting particle board homes starting at the low 200,000s. And you're wondering why, when a tornado hit, the whole home wants to blow away. It's completely destroyed. And I doubt they'll give you all your money. They give you some, but they're not going to give you all. They're apartment homes. All of it's cheap as fuck. It's cheap. Excuse my French, but it's really cheap, man. And then they want to get upset over you over a little hole in the wall, like a nail or something. Like, they want you to patch that over. I'm like, these guys flip these things overnight, yo. Like, I was out of my apartment one week and they had somebody else in there the next week. Like, they just come in, slap some paint on the walls in the necessary areas, paint over any mold or any hole. They patch up the holes. Yeah, I didn't say patch up the holes. They patch up the holes. They paint up the mold. They somewhat redo the bathroom a little bit. Like, they add a bar or two in there, and it's ridiculous. It's sad. It's really sad. Oh, they change out the little things. They go, you have your stove, right? If you got one of the older stoves in your apartment, you got them little silver or black trays that catch all the dirt and stuff. Yeah, they change out those. I bet you they don't sweep behind that trucker though. I bet you they don't sweep behind the refrigerator. Heck, when we got to our apartment, we didn't even have the dryer hole for the vent, right? They didn't even have that. So they had to come back, recut the hole because they, like I said, they just came in and slapped paint on the wall, patched up any holes they saw. And you can still see holes through the outside from where they just patched it up, like in certain areas. But like I said, like, we got to figure this out because apartments should not cost the same amount of money as a house payment or more than a house payment. It's ridiculous. Like, I thought I was getting luxury. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm gonna pay anything over 1,200, I want luxury, especially if it comes to an apartment. I mean, and this is a pretty crummy area too. Oh, these are the best places. Prices in the area compared to other places. I'm like, shut up, shut. Just no, boo boo. That's not flying today. That is not. Don't even do it. Don't. So no, I refuse. Gas prices. Okay, I'm used to paying like $30 or whatever for a full $34 for a full tank of gas. It only costs me $7 more now. but I'm also driving a lot more. Cause see, hmm, I'm not driving as much as I used to. I feel like I'm driving a lot more because it's 20 minutes there, 20 minutes back. But what I was doing 30 minutes to Mooresville and then 30 minutes back to where I was at. So, I mean, I'm driving less, but I had the weekends off. So I would do driving on the weekends. Now that I don't really have weekends with this new job that I'm at, I don't spend as much on gas. So I should probably not complain about that. But the point is, if I was doing all that driving on the weekends, because like there's gaps between gigs, you know. If I was getting gigs every weekend, which hopefully in due time, when I get my crap together, not saying that it's not together, but this new work schedule it's whooping my tail. So I've been slacking. I ain't touched my saxophone since the last gig. Here we got one coming up pretty soon. It's middle. I don't know when it is. I gotta I gotta get that information and write it down on the calendar. I'm slacking, but a definite a definite push for alternative fuel sources for these vehicles because they're not going to stop making vehicles and we're not going to stop buying them. Point blank. And if that's the case, why not make an alternative fuel source? I just feel like everyone would benefit so much more. And I'm tired of reading about ancient civilizations where, okay, a good majority of the people thrived, like, well, I'm not going to say a good majority of the people, but the civilizations lasted for thousands of years. And here we are, we're on the brink of war every day. It's like, oh, and we can't even get along. I mean, I'm sure if they had their grievances back then with each other, but we can't even make a fuel source to go about our daily lives. Like, they use cattle, horses, and all they have to do is breed a horse, breed two horses, get another horse, breed two cattle, get another cow, breed a donkey, get another donkey, chickens, more chickens. It was simple. It was simple, right? Then we started fooling with these fossil fuels and stuff, knowing that they would run out, and we haven't started working on the alternative because you can keep raising the gas prices up, but eventually people are going to start walking. So they're going to start riding bikes. What are you going to do? Raise the prices on bikes because people decide to ride bikes? Come on now. That's just like with the used car situation. Everybody wants, not everybody, I can't speak for everybody, but a small majority of people are buying used cars. They're no longer buying the new car unless they make that kind of money. But nobody really makes that kind of money since this pandemic then hit. I mean, I do work for some people. They drive some very nice cars, and I commend them for their efforts. But wouldn't catch me doing it unless I had the money for it. Like, if I didn't have the money for it in my pocket the day I went and looked at it, I'm not buying it. If I didn't have the money to pay off my house, well, I don't have a house yet. If I didn't have over half my house paid off, the money for the car in my pocket, plus the monthly payment for it in my bank account. Let's say I want to do a payment plan, but let's say if I don't have double what that car is worth in the bank account, I don't need it. That's what I should have said. Wow, man, sleep deprivation does wonders, man. I tell you, this is another reason why I've been slacking because I've just been so very tired. I really wanted this to be an informational podcast. I definitely want to talk about a couple things I've just been thinking about with like the gas prices, alternative fuel sources. Why is the market so high? I'll touch on that in depth more, like probably next week because I want to keep talking about things that are help us. Like I want to talk about things that'll start conversations like this my mental health that I'm about to share with y'all. So mentally, I've been pretty good this month, and there are a couple of flare ups where I got angry, but that's mainly because I was mad at myself for allowing others to get up under my skin. I've been microdosing my CBD, so I'm not having as many episodes. Sorry, I had to pop the back. I'm not having my episodes as much because of the CBD, and I take it before I do my daily duties. Get it? Daily duties. But now that I don't have as much CBD in my system like I used to, it's kind of rough. Because I used to take 0.75. I do the drop, just one drop of that, and I'd be good to go for a good bit of the day. But I've noticed that my oh my gosh, why am I so all over the place? My mind's in like 50,000 directions. It's like a ADHD attack. Let me get my thoughts together, please. It's like I know what I want to say, but I can't get all the words out. Like last week, it was just boom, 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 boom. And part of that was because I structured the podcast, and this week I tried structuring it, but I didn't structure it well enough. Like I just slapped it together and like, all right, we're gonna do this because if I gotta work, I'm not gonna want to get up, do the podcast, then go to work for 4 hours, then go out and hang out with friends, and that's ridiculous. But back to the mental health. I've been thinking about going cold turkey, like nothing in my system. Just nothing, nothing, you know, like the song. I know you know that song. If you're a true Tyler the Creator friend, you know that song. But the reason why I say Tyler the Creator is because when he told me he doesn't do any drugs or alcohol or any of that, I was just like, yo, dude, you're awesome. I commend you for your efforts. Like, I think he's one of the few artists that I listen to that's cold turkey, not out here partying, doing hard drugs and stuff. Not that that's what people are doing, but he doesn't. This man is on a different level, and I aspire to be like that. I aspire to be better than that, honestly. I'm not saying I won't have a beer every now and then, but I'm not gonna like make that. I'm not gonna go to the when I go to the grocery store. I'm not gonna pick up beer to have when I get off of work because I don't need that. But if I don't have a relaxer or something to calm it down, it just builds up and turns into a blind rage. And I end up taking it out on everybody around me. I'm running out of breath trying to talk. That's not good. And I don't like to be that person. That's not who I am, and that's not what I want to do. And sometimes it happens before I realize I'm doing it. I was diagnosed with bipolar depression and ADHD. Not sure which bipolar they said, but I've been working on my mental health for a while now. It's something that constantly gets swept under the rug when it needs to be addressed and corrected. And me being the type of person who likes to bottle everything up, every emotion, everything that's said to me, and all my feelings, right? That's not good. It doesn't make my situation any better to just keep it all to myself. And I encourage everyone to get their mental health in check. I feel like knowing is half the battle and the rest is mental. Because, like, if you know what you're up against, like, at least you have a fighting chance. You know what I'm saying? And then you just got to get over those mental hurdles. I know everybody want to, like, not everybody. I gotta stop saying that. Dang it. I need to put, like, I need to put out a jar for when I say everybody. Because I'm always like, everybody, everybody, everybody. Not everybody. It's not just everybody. It's the small majority that I'm concerned about. And I don't even know why I'm concerned about the small majority, but the small majority, that's, I'm going to go with it. The small majority, likes to turn up and forget about their problems. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're on the path that I'm on and you're trying to like work your 20s, your 30s, while you still have the energy, you want to build while you're in your 20s and 30s like I am, man, you got to get that mental in check. If it's not already there, if it's already there, then hats off to you, man. I'll see you at the finish line. But if it's not, we in this together, you know. It's like I could sit here and say that not working on my mental helped me along the way, and it did not help me once whatsoever. Like you can get pretty far. You can get pretty far. I made it up to about 18, not really checking my mental. Not 18, 19, 20. When did I move here? I moved here in 2018. Moved in 2018. I was 20 years old? 20, 22. No, 2018. I was 19. I think I moved up here when I was 19 years old. Or was it 20? I can't remember, man. Oh my gosh, I can't remember. No. All right, so somewhere between the age of 19 and 21. Holy crap, I'm 23. I'm about to be 24. I'm over here looking at my phone like it's gonna tell me how old I am. Oh my gosh, how old am I? Wow. I'm having a mental brain fart. This is why you gotta get your mental in check, because I'm over here like, wait a minute, how old am I? What's going on here? Where am I? I feel like an old man. This is not. Oh my gosh, because I'm not 22 anymore. So I would say from between the age of 21, 19 and 20. We're gonna say 19 to 21. 23, 19. Yeah, we're gonna say between the ages of 19 and 23. Between the ages of 19 and 23. I forgot what I was gonna say, but I'm gonna shoot in the dark here for what I was gonna say. I had a really good story. I haven't really checked myself. It was more so it's everybody else's fault. And why am I out of breath? This COVID stuff, man. Like, they did say the symptoms were gonna linger. I didn't expect them to linger this long, but I didn't check myself, and I continued to blame everybody else. And I lost a lot of good people along the way. I've done a lot of shady things along the way. Uh, I've not been a good person. I've been very, very selfish. And it's because I didn't check myself. I didn't check myself at all whatsoever. I didn't want to listen. I wanted to do things my way. And don't worry, I'm paying for my sins. Loneliness sucks. Because, like, nobody wants to be around a hot headed, angry, violent person. And that's not who I am. That's not who I want to be. That's just who I turn into when I don't get my way. And I need to be checked. So I've been checking myself here recently. Like, I think I mentioned this in a couple of earlier episodes where I'm like questioning why I'm feeling a certain way. And like, I think that's like the first step is knowing what you got. Then the second step is questioning, like, why am I feeling this way? What series of events led up to this? Because if I don't figure out the formula to stop it in its tracks, right? How am I gonna evolve and change and be the person that I need to be, the person that God wants me to be, you know? So that's just something you gotta think about, man. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm not gonna beat that horse anymore. And I'm going to get off of here. We're already at like 28 minutes. So, yeah. Hopefully, you guys will be able to hear me a lot better once I get that cloud lifted for the other microphone. I do look forward to that. New music coming out. New music coming out pretty soon. Pretty soon. I'm probably gonna add some like ad-libs and vocal effects to it because it's a pretty good little song. I like it. I've been working on this song for what, months now. I finally got 2 verses for it, and I was on video chat with my cousin, taking his class, and I had to rewrite the verse that I originally had because it didn't sound right to me. The first verse was like, this makes no sense. I kept the second half of it, and then I like rearranged a couple of the things that I had in the second half of the first verse. But the beginning, it was just like, what did I write? You're the doctor shows to my sweaty feet. I know they sting like my dirty ass thoughts. That's why I wink. and then I do like a click noise, and I'm like, let me just save that for something else. That's disgusting. That's disgusting. That makes me feel ill. Ew. That made me feel ill trying to just saying it and then listening to it over and over again. I was like, wait a minute, nah, that. Mm-mm. We'll save that out. No. Here's the second part. I walk up to you like I know you, and we fucking talk. Let's take a journey through that heart of yours and give it cold sparks. Awkward silence. Nah, it was all right. It was okay. It sounded good. On in theory, it sounded good, but I needed to. I'm trying to get my structure right, like chorus, verse, or verse, chorus, and verse. But I also want to, make sure what I'm talking about makes sense because I've noticed with a couple of like rappers that are on the come up. You know what I'm saying? Like we're all in the same boat. But they've been doing it a little bit longer than me. But it's like I don't want to be repetitive with what I'm talking about, or I don't want to use the same line that I used in the last song. I don't want to do that. I want to be better. I want to be like the artists that I listen to, like Tyler the Creator. Actually, I want to be better than those guys. I want to be better than Tyler the Creator. Well, not better. Just yeah, I do want to be better. I do want to be better. Because there can only be one you. You can't replicate what somebody else is. I mean, you can, but what fun is that? I'm shooting for my own sound, but I'm looking for inspiration through like Tyler, Mac Miller, XXS Tentacion, and who else? Who else have I been listening to really heavy? Haji Beats. Uh, I feel like there's a couple of others. I can't think of them right now. But I've already gone over the little time limit that I've got set. So that being said, if you like the episode, be sure to download, hit that like button, hit that share button, leave me a comment in the description. No, in the comments section. In the comments section. Why am I such a goober? I'm gonna work on this sleeping thing, y'all. Sleep is also important with the mental health. Gotta get that sleep. You didn't get that. That's another thing. All right, I know I said I was getting ready to go, but you gotta sleep. If you don't get your sleep, oof. I mean, some people can go without sleep, but me, I definitely need my sleep. If I don't get my sleep, I'm like evil Knievel. I'm like Malachi from Children of the Corn. I'm coming to get you. You know what I'm saying? For no reason. Just evil for no reason. Negative and evil. Alright, I'm out. Bye.